That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality. Anything they can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
People are going to be doing what they always do when the economy tanks. They will be blaming immigrants and corporate.
This country has proven resilient based on the fact that its foundation is the age of reason.
America is just now coming to grips with what unfolded here in the early morning hours here in Orlando.
In this city, thousands of demonstrators marched to protest the death of Eric Garner.
Breaking news, a fresh act of madness. The snipers hit 11 police officers.
Gun sales in this country are spiking in the aftermath of the San Bernardino terror attack.
We're bringing it on ourselves. And that's the thing. Al-Qaeda, all those guys, ISIS, they're not compared to the damage that we can do ourselves on a regular basis.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of the Age of Reason podcast, where we are not for the faint of thought. What's going on, Alex?
Oh, not much, man. Just got back from chasing 15 8-year-olds around the soccer field. So
Jesus Christ, Jared.
If I sound a little out of breath over here, it's that's what it is.
You make a good spokesperson for Subway.
Oh shit! Calm down.
Actually, I want to get some out of the way real quick. So, I don't usually listen to our episodes from like the week before. I usually if I'm traveling like on a plane or a long car ride, I'll listen to something from months ago just to kind of get a feel for where we were at a certain point. And but this time I was sitting at work and I was just needed something to listen to, so I listened to this past week's episode, and I made a mistake in something that I said, and I'm like kicking myself for it. And then I get home, and the first words out of Lindsay's mouth, my wife, says, "Hey, smartass, John Legend did not write the song Imagine." So apparently I gave kudos to John Legend, and I think I said, yes, and John Legend wrote the atheist anthem Imagine, and no. I
thought I caught it when you said it, but then you moved on quick, so I didn't give it a second thought. But
damn it.
When you said it, I thought something didn't sound right, but then we kept going. But
John
happens.
John Legend is a very important artist, especially activist-wise and all that, but that was for John Lennon.
I have for some reason I have deja vu. Like we somehow we did this before.
Yes, you did this with I want to say Marilyn Manson or Marilyn Manson or Charlie. I want to say Marilyn Manson had something to do with it. Like you. My response to what you said was that would be surprising, and I think it had to do with somebody being the head of some church or something. I forget, but yes, you did the exact same thing like weeks ago, but we caught it on the episode when it happened, and I'm just I don't deserve to be a Beatles fan. That's terrible. Well, it's not like I insulted him. I mean, John Legend's if you're gonna mix anybody up with anybody, shit, he's not bad. Hey, we're just ordinary people. What are we gonna do? Ha ha ha! Shout out. So, how you been, man?
Pretty good. It's pretty much no, not too many political conversations.
They've been going down, haven't they?
It's just kind of a dead end, and it's hard right now, obviously, to advance the case for voting against Trump. So it's honestly, this election season's kind of weird.
Kind of
with the debates coming up and everything. You just would imagine to see more action, and it's aside from Hillary being on death's doorstep.
She's not on death's door. Don't spread that. She's not on death's doorstep.
It was a joke. I'm saying that's what all the news was reporting for a while.
Yes.
Aside from that, you don't really. There's not news from the campaigns. More stuff obviously continues to come out about Donald Trump's past and
everything.
Yeah, so
and I think the real news is that Hillary Clinton actually is dead. I hear that this new one, HRC 2.0, is actually a body double.
I did hear that as well. So
fucking tinfoil hats. I honestly think they're both being quiet. I think which is strange because, as I said last week, Bannon, the guy from Breitbart, told Trump that he's being too timid. I guess he's not.
Oh God.
What?
I missed that bit of news where he told. Trump.
Yeah,
Trump
I brought it up. I brought it up last week. He told Trump that he's pulling punches, that he needs to be more outspoken. And so it's just funny that, that news came out a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago was when I first heard it. And for the most part, everything's kind of quiet right now. And I'm not sure what it's going to be. I mean, you brought up that Trump doesn't want moderators at the debate, which I don't know. I still stand by what I said months ago. With these two, I think if Trump actually for the first time in his life practices some restraint and actually goes in there with a calculated agenda and how he's going to run this debate, if he can do that, he might win. If he can get Hillary to explode, I hate to say it.
Yeah, I think the debates are probably going to be more important in this election than they have been in a long time, just because the people for Romney and Obama or McCain and Obama, people kind of knew each person. They knew the philosophies. They knew the politics. Your average baseball watching American doesn't watch the debates. I mean, more people watch the debates than typical political news, but it's still, people have to really care about politics to watch a 2-hour debate.
I think they will, though.
I know,
I think Trump's side will.
No, I agree. I think this one is going to bring more of an audience. Almost, people, as much as entertainment is, the opiate of the media sources, I think this debate is going to be more entertaining than anyone previously.
One of Trump's spokespeople said that they're going for WrestleMania. They're going for like a sporting event type feel. I can't quote the guy that said it because I don't have his name in front of me. It was small news that I picked up weeks ago, but one of his campaign spokespeople said that's what they're looking to do at the debates. That's what Trump is looking to do, and that's what the fuck happened to this country?
The reason that's funny to me is because if you look, Donald Trump actually did spend some time in the WWE.
Oh, yes,
promoting himself.
Yes,
so you can see him getting the Stone Cold Stunner, and he might have hit somebody with a chair or something.
I think he did his. There's. I think he shaved like Vince McMahon's.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, if you want to see some comedy, look up Donald Trump WWE.
I think his supporters are going to watch, but I don't think they are going to care. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on in this country right now, and some of that is burning people towards Hillary, and a lot of it is on Trump's side, where it doesn't matter how well Hillary gets up there and performs and how terrible Trump performs and what Trump says. I mean, what do you do to somebody that whenever they do say something completely ignorant and stupid, but their fans love him more for that because that's him speaking his mind? I mean, how do you take away from that? I don't know how you combat it.
Excuse me. I think the people that our side can hope to win over are the moderate Republicans, or the people, even some true conservative people, libertarian, especially if they have socially liberal kind of, if they're okay with it. But I think a lot of people have to be turned off by Donald Trump. I mean,
I'm sure a lot of people are, but I mean, this goes back to what I said last week. This third party shit is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm with the third party thing, but as we discussed, not right now. And we got 12% of people right now that are not going for Trump or Hillary. They're going for Johnson or Stein. And she's got a 1.8 lead over Trump nationwide. 1.8 is not much. I mean, for the margin of error for fucking polls, I guarantee it's more than 1.8.
Mm-hmm. But, and, not to continue to go this route. But honestly, I mean, where is she at right now? She should be campaigning, trying to get these people that aren't interested in voting for her. I mean, it's frustrating for me.
It is,
because of what could have been. This
Sure.
could have been good versus evil.
Yeah.
And right now, people think it's evil versus evil, but it's not. That's not necessarily the case, right? But she has to show everybody. It's on her. It's not. She can't at the end, if she loses, and say, "Oh, you guys didn't come out and vote for me."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you didn't campaign for it. You got to earn the votes, and that's the thing.
I'm in complete agreement. And as I've said before, I mean, Hillary Clinton is the clear, more than reasonable choice given the alternative. But she is not making this shit easy, especially when it comes to Bernie supporters, and everybody that put every bit of energy that it took to run a campaign untraditionally the way he did and get as far as he did. She's not doing anything to get those people. I completely agree, but I call it 50-50 on responsibility. Yeah, she's not doing enough, but then again, this is the stupidity of this country. And honestly, for an atheist that says that he has faith in people and humanity, while cursing faith on the other hand, it's hard as a truly liberal person that really does care about the progress of humankind to sit here and say, America, you're spoiled and you're fucking stupid. There should be no way somebody like Donald Trump should get as far as he has. And all of this, well, I believe he's going to do well. Or I believe he's going to fix the economy. I believe he's going to create jobs. I believe he's going to make people respect other countries, respect America. I believe he's going to make America great again. Your belief has nothing. Your belief can force you to do something, but it does not make something true. And there's so much of that in this country. And I really think everything that we talked about last week, the lack of art in our music, our movies, our TV shows, and the lack of interest in your own reality is also playing a huge part in this. I mean, we blame the media all the time, but I think everything else that I just mentioned makes the job of the right wing and even liberal media that much easier to just sway people in whatever fucking direction they want to go in. And that's the thing. They don't just give their opinions, but instead of showing polls as to whether or not something is true or false, they show polls about whether or not people believe that it's true or false. That's got nothing to do with anything. I don't know. Maybe it's just now hitting me. I mean, nobody thought Trump was going to get this far besides Michael Moore, who's the only famous person I know that pointed it out. I didn't think it was going to go this far.
No, agreed. And I guess speaking about moderators, one thing that did happen, Trump was in Flint, Michigan, and he was supposed to be talking about the water crisis, how his plans to fix it. And there was the pastor, she was a black lady, interrupted him and told him, hey, we didn't bring you here to talk about Hillary Clinton or to make this a political event. We want to hear your plans and stuff. And it was funny to see him, kind of be shushed by this lady and tell him, like, hey, stay on message. Something, Matt Lauer could have.
He could have taken a note or two, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, so that happened. The vote, it went viral. Everybody saw it. And then, of course, the next day, Donald Trump attacks the lady. She was a nervous mess. And, it's just so like childish, where it's like you expect it, okay, there's no way Trump's going to take being shushed, right? So of course, right. Here comes the tweets.
Whether it's her or the parents of a fallen Muslim soldier, it doesn't matter. I mean, he said that point about how the father did all the talking, and maybe the mother wasn't even allowed to speak. I mean, who knows? And I can travel in that direction a little bit, being an atheist and having major issues on how all religions treat their women, especially the Muslim world. But I mean, she came out and lashed out at him. But I mean, it may even be fair to say that the woman was a nervous mess. I mean, she's living in Flint, Michigan. They got fucking lead in their water. Nobody gives a shit. And this guy who said that he's going to help after continuing to support Governor Snyder is there making a political statement. I mean, it is Donald Trump. It is a celebrity. It is a known person. It could possibly be the next president of the United States. I'd be pretty nervous when I tell that orange pumpkin ass motherfucker to shut his mouth too. Regardless though, I mean, it just shows the temperament of this guy. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can trust him. And the thing is what I'm starting to think about now is that it's not, I don't think when we argue with Trump supporters and when we hear what people that are voting for him have to say, I think we're disagreeing. I don't think we've been disagreeing on the same point. I disagree with these people about the bad things that I think Trump is going to do. And for the longest time, I think they have disagreed with me and said that he wasn't going to do those things. But what I'm noticing more and more now is that what I view to be bad decisions, they're viewing to be good decisions. So when you talk about Trump threatening, basically saying, why do we have nuclear weapons if we can't use them? Talking about sending nukes to Iran and all this other shit. It's like, we're not arguing over whether or not he's going to do it anymore. We're arguing over whether or not it's a good idea. And in a way, all of these stupid fucking basket of deplorables, I'll fucking say it, they have changed the conversation. It's not about that anymore. It's about whether or not that's a good idea. They have gone from nuts to completely batshit fucking crazy.
I remember when the primaries first started and Trump started doing his thing, there's a rule that it's called, like the political conversation has to stay normally between here and here, between these 2 points. But then when you get an outlier that comes out like Trump and that's way out there, the conversation stops going from this normal sane conversation, and now it's acceptable to bring these crazy ideas like banning all Muslims, something which is completely un-American. It's unpatriotic. It's unpatriotic when you look at it, and you look at what this country stands for, what it's made up of. And when you're arguing with these people, they're making the argument like, yes, this is the right thing to do, even though it's completely backwards against the Constitution that these guys claim to love, so much.
And that's the point I'm making about cognitive dissonance is you and I are both militant atheists who despise religion at every turn. But, I mean, look what you just said. It's like Congress. And I don't think there'd be any scientific evidence or study that would show that the lay of the land in Congress directly influences the lay of the land in the United States. I'm sure it does to an extent, but nowhere near where it's at right now. But I mean, that's basically what it's come to. America has come to where the most useless Congress in American history has come to. Nobody cares to reason or compromise anymore. Compromising is a sign of weakness, and you're not standing your ground. You're not speaking your mind, no matter how fucking crazy your ideas are. I mean, And of course, some people find ideas more crazy than others. I find the abortion argument absolutely fucking nuts. How the fuck can you tell somebody what they will and will not do with their body? I do not fucking understand that. I mean, to some people, they may fall at some other end of the spectrum or somewhere in the middle, but I mean, those used to be the conversations that we'd have as we'd fight within the gray area. Because if you're on the far end of the black side of the spectrum and on the far end of the white, no racial pun intended, but if you're not in the gray area, nobody can fucking hear you. Nobody's listening. And I think right now what we're really witnessing here is a perfect storm. And part of that can be shown in Donald Trump's most recent endorsement. He just got endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the largest police officers union. I don't understand why a union would ever support somebody like Donald Trump, but this is in direct relation to black versus blue that we're seeing right now. Hillary Clinton is going for the rest of the union. She's going after black activists and Black Lives Matter and all that. She's seeking their endorsement. Donald Trump can't go there. He's got to go blue. I mean, that's what we're seeing. And it's just, compromise is weakness right now.
Yeah, everything's just so polarizing. I did see, we talked about Kaepernick the couple weeks ago, and I did see that there's a sheriff's county in Florida that is now saying they're not going to protect the Dolphins because there's 3 players over there that are protesting the anthem. There's another sheriff's county that said, hey, our job is to keep people safe. We have a contract with the stadium, blah, blah, blah. They're doing their job.
I think that was Santa Clara. That was
no, in Florida. The Dolphins are still protected by there's
another one?
There's more than one.
I heard a similar quote come out of Santa Clara for the Niner Stadium, that they have a job to do. And that's right. Do your fucking jobs. Do the job that you fucking chose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that it just show, like you said, it's always one versus another, and we need, some kind of movement, and like obviously we work on here, but this might not be enough. There has to be something that we can just get kind of people together and just.
I think what needs to happen is we need a Bernie Sanders again. That's not running for president. That's just only doing awareness. And that's been the problem with the 98%. That's honestly my only issue with Black Lives Matter is the same issue I have with the 98%. They didn't. You need one person. It needs to be somewhat of a dictatorship in regards to who your spokesperson is. It needs to be ran like a presidential campaign. You got your spokespeople, you got your lieutenants in a sense that can do press conferences, but you need one person leading the movement. We had Martin Luther King. You got one face. You had all these other people. You had Joe Louis. You had Jesse Jackson. You had fucking Sharpton. Some other people I don't like. But, you had these other famous people that would come out and speak, but they were all speaking under the one umbrella that was being held by one man. Or, not that it has to be a man, but I think that's what we need. We need some sort of awakening. We need somebody to lead this, because when everybody's like, I have an idea for this, and somebody else says they have a different idea on how to get things done, and they split, what you end up having is a shit ton of Martin Luther Kings and a shit ton of Malcolm X's, and none of them agree. And you have them each on both ends of the different ends of the spectrum once again, and there's no leadership there.
It's just if the person's not running for president, let's say, what platform do they, are they can they take,
The cause, in my opinion, the cause would be it has to be the platform, and that's got to be it. Martin Luther King was not running for office. Neither was Malcolm X. They were both leading. They both had their agendas. They both had, what they were trying to do. But
this is my point, and you're correct. But it's just nowadays, you think Fox News or MSNBC or CNN, you think they would cover some guy, even if somebody got 5,000 people to rally in Los Angeles, right? And he got Crips and Bloods to unite and listen to this guy's speech, right? Yep. Do you think the news would cover that?
I think local news would cover it, but when you look at the cable news stations, if you look at, when you bring up Fox News, those aren't the people we care about. To quote Mitt Romney, but those aren't the people that we're going to get. And honestly, I wish I had this statistic in front of me. I don't want to say it because it's I don't know the numbers for real, but I know a staggering amount of people that are our age, staggering amount of millennials, anybody born around 1982 on up, they don't get their news from those cable news stations or even from their local nightly news. They don't get it from there. They get it from Facebook. They get it from websites. And, Bernie Sanders didn't get coverage either. Nowhere near the amount, especially Donald Trump, but nowhere near the amount of even Hillary Clinton. Not until it was down to the two of them and the socialist was nipping at her heels. That was all social media and third-party news platform.
but he had the platform of running for president, right? So that was kind of.
I didn't say it was going to be easy.
No,
something's
I
going to
know.
happen.
I agree. And
what somebody has to do is get kind of all the minority groups and remind them that they're not fucking minorities. That's what everybody needs to do. We are minorities because we allow them to divide us. That's it.
Yeah, that's when I was thinking about it actually myself today, and that's the bottom line is you got to get somebody, but it's hard because there's a line. You have to acknowledge the struggles of Black Lives Matter, right? I mean,
sure.
It is different than the struggle of poor white people. There's a difference, but you can compare different things and
see, I don't
have similar.
I kind of disagree with that. I don't think it's different. I think one is harsher than the other. I think one is more painful than the other. As we talked before, if you're poor growing up as a white kid, you still have that going for you because it was a lot easier than growing up if you were a black child. The difference is the same because it's like I said before, all the people that are doing this care about is fucking money. That's it. Keep us dumb and fucking unengaged. I mean, that's all they care about. They have us caring about everything else, which does not fucking matter. And that's, I don't know. To me, that's what needs to happen. All these minority groups need to come together and realize the majority that they actually are. Black Lives Matter, the LGBT community, and they need to let, it needs to be about class is what it needs to be about. It needs to be about the top having their thumb on the fucking bottom. It needs to be everybody coming together and understanding that the top 1/10 of 1% should not be controlling as much wealth as the bottom 90, to quote Bernie. That's what this is about. Huge. But speaking of Trump, I am so happy to hear because I've been worried about this since 2008, 2009. We can all rest easily tonight. Obama was born in Hawaii. He was born in the United States. Trump has announced it. And we all know who to blame. Hillary Clinton. She started this whole goddamn birther movement bullshit back in 2008 when she was running against Obama. Do you remember when she stood up and said he shouldn't be able to run because he's not an American citizen? Do you remember this?
I don't know.
Yeah, me fucking neither because it didn't happen. But Donald Trump came out and said that Obama was born in the state of Hawaii. He is a legitimate president other than the fact that he's black and he's got a funny name. He didn't say that. I added that. But he then blamed the whole birther conversation on Hillary Clinton and said that Hillary Clinton used that as an attack on Obama when they were running against each other.
So the Clinton-Obama campaign got really ugly. I mean, it got ugly. I don't think the birther thing came from the Clinton camp, but there was definitely some shots there that could be perceived as racist.
But the birther thing never did happen.
No, the birther thing didn't. Right? The campaign did get ugly, and I forgot who just came out saying that the Clintons refer to Obama as that man, and that there's still there's still some animosity between. I can't think. Colin Powell. Colin Powell's emails.
Oh, right.
Were released. I can't believe I didn't make notes on that, but his email. The reason partly is because they were his private emails.
Right.
But they were released, and he did talk about the animosity between the Clintons and Obama, and also he talked a lot of shit about Donald Trump. So there were some interesting little things on there, but I'm not sure if you saw the meme. It said if it took Donald Trump 6 years to figure out if Obama was born in the U.S., how long is it going to take him to deport all the Mexicans?
That's a perfect point. Yeah, well, like I said, we can all rest easy tonight knowing that our president is legitimate. Only because he said so. Jesus. Other than that, I got some firearm info. Do you have some? I have two stories, and then I got really bored, so I ran some stats the other day.
Actually, I was reading the Washington Post, and I saw an interesting article. They surveyed 4,000 people. So this is this when I seen the headline, I was like, what? And then I clicked on and I read it, and it's still pretty amazing. Okay, so out of the 4,000 people, and this is obviously they took a small sample amount, 4,000 people, but obviously they extrapolated, and they say based on those results, 78% of the country is unarmed. They have no guns. 19% of the country own 50% of the guns. Of course, you're wondering where's the other 50%. 3% of America owns 50% of the guns in circulation.
Wow, it's almost as bad as the wealth gap.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously,
those gun nuts.
Mr. Madden, my junior high school teacher, is one of the 3%. He said
you got to give a recap.
The guy, he buys guns. We asked him, how many guns do you have? He said, every time, soon as I can buy another one, I get another one.
And what was with the PBS logo?
Yeah, see, this was a crazy teacher. He covered up the CBS. If we were watching a movie and they had a logo of the station, he had a little piece of cardboard that he would cover the logo with because he thought that was a camera and they were watching his classroom. This guy thought he knew who assassinated JFK, and he was writing a book supposedly. I haven't seen it on the shelves yet, but
and this was like 15, 16 years ago.
You're gonna make me feel old. But
you're turning 30 in a few months. You better get used to it, man.
So one quote that I saved from the Washington Post article is, they are buying handguns to protect themselves against bad guys. They store their guns ready to use because of bad guys and believe that their guns make them safer. This was based on surveys. They said this shows a significant shift from the 1990s when most gun owners said they own firearms primarily for hunting and target shooting.
Yep.
So in 20 years, we've gone from sport, keeping guns for sport.
To get off my lawn.
Yeah. And recently I was, I saw something about Julian Assange from WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
And he,
WikiLeaks?
WikiLeaks.
You said WikiLeaks.
Oh.
Anthony Weiner strikes again. Anyway.
Yeah. So they tweeted out that he was willing to go to jail if the United States pardoned, or if Obama pardoned Chelsea Manning, who delivered documents to WikiLeaks. And I was reading the article, and it showed some of the things that Chelsea Manning gave up. And one of them was a video of the United States, and it was from the air, from a helicopter. And it was a 30-minute video, and I took my son to football practice the other day, and I sat there and I watched it. And honestly, man, it was freaking, it was crazy. You can see why we are not ending terrorism. It was not live, but it was real time. It showed the camera, and then it was showing the dispatch conversation between the helicopter and either some other part of the unit, and initially they're circling around, and they see a guy who appears to have an RPG pointed at them. So then they come around, and this guy's isolated. He's with a group of 10 or so people, and they come around the corner. They're flying, obviously, around the building, and then they take out all 10 people there. Just shoot them. And that part I can see they were aiming at them potentially, whatever, right? So then they're continuing to monitor the area, and first responders come to pick up the bodies, and they shoot everybody in the van, just blow up the van. Later on, once the ground...
Was this via drone strike?
No, there's a helicopter.
Okay, all right.
Right there, and there's a gunner on the helicopter. And the conversation, I'm sure, I wasn't in the military, so I'm sure it's normal. But just to hear him say like, "Oh, we got those fuckers," and like, "Oh, good shot," and right, it was straight through the window, and then as the ground troops come, you just hear like, "Oh man, oh damn." we need a medevac here. There's a little girl here that's pretty shot in the stomach, pretty bad, and they're shouldn't have brought a child to a war zone, they're saying. And it's just it's like I said, you can watch the video. It's out there because of people like Chelsea Manning.
And I just want to point out two things. Number one, this is as barbaric as this is. I mean, this is not supporting the troops. This is what war does, in my opinion. I mean, it's got to be disturbing to hear that and watch it, but I think the difference between soldiers and you and I is we're still disturbed by it. And I don't think it's the fault of the soldier, but we learned a lot about this in Vietnam. When our troops came back and they were called baby killers, and there was the massacre that was led by one of the generals in a village where they basically just exterminated an entire village of people like they were rats, because as far as they were concerned, they were rats. And I don't think that's I don't think it's their fault. I think this is what war fucking does. This is why war is terrible. These aren't human lives we're talking about anymore. These are rats that need to be exterminated. And unfortunately, if you don't think that way, you're going to be a rat that gets exterminated by the other side. It's fucking terrible. Secondly, the reason why I asked if that was a drone strike, I went and saw Snowden last weekend.
Okay.
Good movie. Lindsay really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I didn't have any jaw-dropping moments, probably because I followed it, and it's very recent. I mean, the whole thing is still going on. He's still in Russia right now. And I think he's probably got about 2 years left on his residency that Putin gave him. If any of you guys don't know much about Edward Snowden, I would highly recommend the movie. You'll find out how a program that he built for the CIA was completely unrelated to this. It was a program for backing up storage of data, and a lot of that stuff was the blueprints for that were then used to aid our drone strike program, which really pissed him off. That was probably one of the big takeaways I had from it. One of the things I didn't know, but a lot of it is pretty basic. But not Oliver Stone's best movie, but it gets the job done. So anyway, back to violence and guns. So the state of Missouri permits concealed carry, such as Arizona. You need zero training nor registration or any type of firearms class, anything like that, to own a firearm and just walk out of your house with it concealed on you. And they also passed an interesting law. You're allowed to stand your own ground now on somebody else's property, in somebody else's house. So if you're a babysitter, you now have the right to defend yourself lethally, or with lethal force rather, in somebody else's house. Now, It does not mean that you don't have the right to tell somebody that they can't bring a gun in your home. But basically what that means is...
But then for that, they can stand your ground and say, hey, you're
exactly
infringing on my Constitution right, so I had to shoot him right there.
Again, get off my lawn.
Get off your lawn in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Get off your lawn.
I mean, I did not see this. Wow, that's just amazing. Stand your own ground, even though you're on my ground.
Yeah. So basically, what that really does is you can conceal on basically babysitters with guns is really what it comes down to. After that, we have Texas. They approved concealed carry on college campuses.
I'm not sure if you saw the campaign.
Dildos.
Dildos, because those sex toys are outlawed on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't bring sex toys, but you can definitely bring things that will kill people. So they have the campaign where people are walking around with strap-ons and double dongs and pretty much everything you can think of.
Not to be confused with the highly anticipated triple dog. Guns on college campuses where alcohol and relationships run awry on a regular basis. Rape is just an enormous issue that we have in this country on college campuses. Let's let Brock Turner carry a gun on college campus. I don't even know,
Texas has done it again.
Well, you should hear. Actually, I'll tell you. Let me see. The McKinney School District. I don't know if this is a school district that Dallas is actually in, but it's around Dallas somewhere. The McKinney School District is building a $7 million football field in response to nearby school building a $60 million football field. Mind everybody, this is fucking high school. 18,000 seat stadium. That's almost as much as what's available in the Staples Center.
Yeah, you gotta have your priorities. Texas is
I've seen Varsity Blues.
big on football.
They do. They love football and Jesus and God, guns and gravy.
God, guns and gravy.
I haven't thought about Mr. Huckabee in a while. It's probably a good thing.
Even Obama, remember when he said that these people cling to their guns and their religion? That was like, that's right there. That's
why am I so surprised by this shit? I mean, the first thing that I thought about when I looked at this this is a competition. Like people are taking pride in the fact that they are responding to a rival $60 million stadium with a $70 million stadium. Like people think this is a great idea. The first thing I thought about is the NCAA. Are we going to go there with high school? Is that where this is going to end up? I mean, I'm sure high school sports make money in certain places, definitely. And if it makes money anywhere, I'm sure it makes money in Texas. But I mean,
trust me, football makes money. It cost me $30 to bring my family to go see little Alex play football. They charge you at the gate.
They charge you to watch a Pop. What is he? Pee-wee or Pop Warner?
Yeah,
he's fucking Pee-wee.
Or Pop. I don't know, Pop Warner, whatever.
How old is he? 9, 8,
9. So I think it's.
He might be novice Pop Warner.
He's novice. Yeah. But I mean, it cost me $30 the other day to get in to watch him. I was like, oh shit! From now on, you guys are staying home. I'm gonna watch it by myself.
I think in the mid '90s, it would cost you less to go to the movies and watch that movie Little Giants, which are about the same fucking age. Are you fucking serious? A cheerleader got involved in the game in that fucking movie. Do you guys have anything that entertaining happening on that fucking field? $30 goddamn dollars?
That trust me,
that's
brother.
Discrimination against people like you who have a Mormon-sized fucking family.
Oh shit.
No,
moving on.
We're not.
Yeah, no. So trust me, those fuckers are making money. Speaking of money,
fuck? They charge for Pop fucking Warner?
Yep.
Whatever. I wish I made money when I played football.
Hey, we got to get illegal, and I paid $300 for him to get to play football, right? $300 plus you got to get his equipment.
Those uniforms. Wait, whoa, that didn't include equipment?
It comes. That's the pads, but I still you got to buy the girdle and all the undershirts and all that shit, right? So he's a lineman, and then I still got to volunteer 6 hours.
You getting sentenced
at the
to
fucking snack
service?
stand. Bro, they're fucking, they are getting me on this
Holy shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. But no wonder parents are angry and fight on the field the whole time. Now, when I was playing football, that was not the case. I mean, parents weren't forced to volunteer. My mom was in charge of like snacks and shit like that. But that was a volunteer thing. There was no money charged to come see us play. And I grew up going to your soccer games all the goddamn time, just hoping a fight would break out because soccer's boring as fuck. But I don't recall ever being charged money for your. Okay, you went to the World Cup. Did they charge money for that? Or not the World, but your the championship thing.
No, the State Cup. No,
State Cup,
there
yeah.
was no. No, all that stuff was free.
No
So,
charge for the biggest game of the year in your league.
Yeah, these guys are racking in the dough over here. Speaking of racking in the dough, though, religion is worth a conservative estimate, 1.2. What religion in the United States? 1.2. What if you had to guess? What would be after that?
What, trillion?
1 trillion.
Dollars?
1.2 trillion dollars. If you put it in the world economy, it would be the 15th largest economy in the world.
I would say, I mean, the first thing off the top of my head is Catholicism, but it would have to be Christians because of the evangelical TV people, right?
This is everything. This is all religion in the United States.
Yeah, but just in the United. Then I would go with evangelicals, mega churches.
No. This is everything. This is how much it's estimated.
Oh, you're asking me to guess on trillion?
No. I didn't know if you were going to say billion. No,
Oh, fuck no. That's chump change. Jesus needs a new pair of shoes. What are you talking about?
Yeah, 1.2 trillion. That was just the point that I was.
Well,
trying to make.
let me go back real quick. Before we get too far off topic. So, like I said, I got bored the other day. So, I ran some statistics here. So, I was scrolling through, looking up news articles and shit, and I came across an NBC survey that they did where they listed each state ranked for gun ownership per 1,000 people. And so after going through this, I was like, that's gun ownership per state. I wonder if that relates at all to the death toll. What do you think? Did it relate?
I would guess. Yes.
I would think so. And then I went a little bit further. I said, hey, wait a minute. So if the amount of guns in circulation are higher in states that have higher death by gun rates, as I'm going through that, I'm going, oh, well, wait a minute here. Wyoming, Arkansas, Nevada, Alabama, fucking Idaho. What do all those states have in common? Do you know?
They all sound red to me.
Oh, they're red as fuck. So, let's go over a few things. So, I'm going to go over this quickly, but I took down the 10 lowest rate of gun ownership per let me see here. Fuck, I'm losing my shit. I wrote down the 10 lowest compared to the 10 highest. Now, out of the 10 lowest, the 10 lowest for gun ownership is New York, Rhode Island, Delaware, Michigan, Massachusetts, Hawaii, New Jersey, Iowa, Vermont, and surprisingly, Mississippi. Mississippi and Michigan are the only two states that are on this list that do not have either a non-Republican governor or a non-Republican House or Senate. Every other state out of those 10, so 8 other states, have at least a portion of one of those three as Democratic. But this is where shit starts to get interesting here. So when we get to the top 10, the state with the largest ownership rate is Wyoming. They have a red Senate, red House, and Matt Mead is a Republican governor. Now, they only have 586,000 people that live in that state. But for every 1,000 people, 195.7 guns are in circulation. In 2014, they had 93 deaths. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. However, that's for every 100,000 people, that's 15.92. So nearly 16 people die from gun deaths a year per 100,000 people. So you take that 93 times 5, that would be, I don't know, probably around like 470 or so people die a year in that tiny ass state. But anyway, other comparison that I made here was I took two similar kind of states. I took California and compared it to Texas. Now, California's got 39.1 million people. Texas has 27.56 million. California, per 100,000 people, there are 7.6 guns in circulation. Texas has 12.8. When it comes to total gun deaths, by the way, all of these gun death rates are taken in 2014. It's the most recent data available. California has a staggering 2,942 deaths per 100,000 people each year. Texas has 927. But here's where it gets interesting. We have 39 million people here. They have 27. That's only 7.38 people per 100,000 that die from gun deaths. Texas has 13.77. So nearly double the death rate, given the amount of guns that they have. I took Colorado. What?
And they almost, I mean, you almost double the guns, right? Are almost doubled, and the death rate is almost doubled.
Yeah, you go from 7.6 per 1,000 people with guns, 7.6 in California, 12.8 in Texas, and so that's a very clear. I mean, I know statistics, they can be misleading and shit like that, but 7.6 to 12.8, and then 7.8 deaths to 13.77, double the guns, double the death. Seems pretty fucking clear to me. Maybe they should shoot the goddamn people that come up with this fucking stadium war that they're having for high school over there. Then we have Colorado. Colorado does have half its legislature is Republican, and I compared them to my former state of Arizona. So in Colorado, we got 5.4 million people that reside here, 7 million in Arizona. And guns per 1,000 people, there are 12 here in Colorado compared to 9.4 in Arizona. So we have a higher gun rate here. This is one of the hunting capitals of the United States with Rocky Mountains and all that. However, check this out. So remember, 12 out of 1,000 people for Colorado, 9.4 for Arizona. Gun deaths per year, 633 here, 927 in Arizona. 12.38 per 100,000 people die a year in Colorado due to guns. And when you break down the population, it's 13.77 per 100,000 people die in the state of Arizona. So what does what do we have in Arizona that we don't have in Colorado? 2/3 of our Congress controlled by Republicans. That's what we got.
Well, yeah, you also have the gun laws in Arizona compared to gun laws in Colorado.
Oh yeah, we're a lot. Well, we're more libertarian than anything else over here. So we are very relaxed on guns.
Yeah, but there's no.
But you cannot walk outside with a gun in your fucking hip, concealed, or even
how about
on your hip in certain
gun
cities.
show.
I need to look into the loophole. I'm not sure if we have the loophole here or not.
I'm pretty sure
think we do.
It's not. I think Arizona might be one of the only. There's a few states.
I'm
but
sure Texas has it too.
Yeah, I don't think Colorado, because they're pretty progressive in a lot of things. I think they would at least close that loophole.
Yeah, but like I said, there's a lot of libertarians, so we're progressive. I wouldn't say we're regressive in any way from what I've seen so far. We're progressive in a lot of ways, but in other ways we're still kind of Republican, in a sense. We're not regressive, but we're kind of the same when it comes to them. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm going to have to start looking up more statistics for other stuff and see what I can find. So, yeah, I was sitting there and an article came by and I'm like, I wonder what happens if I factor this in here. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool. Good work on that.
Thank you.
And speaking of violence, I think we got about 8 minutes, and there's two, I guess you would call them terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
That occurred. The first one was a bombing. Ahmad Khan Rahami was wounded in a shootout with police. He shot 2 police officers, and he's the one. They wanted him in response to bombings that happened in New York and New Jersey. I know 29 people were injured in the one in New York. I think they also found a backpack with 5 explosives
Right.
that hadn't gone off.
And both police officers are okay from last I heard. They were both wearing vests. One got shot in the chest, hit the vest. No critical condition or anything. I think they're both going to be all right.
Yeah. And, good job on the police. They used the bomb robot on the bombs, not on the suspect. So, so we do have him in custody. Obviously we'll see what goes on there. It was the pressure cooker kind of type bombs.
Same one used in the Boston bombing.
Yeah, right. So it's
I like that. They use the robot on the bombs, not the suspect. And I think the difference is because the last time they used that, which is the first and only time they've used it so far, was during the Dallas shooting, and that guy wasn't a suspect at that point. There was actually a much longer standoff and shootout that went down, and this guy was already proven guilty for the most part. So yeah, fucking religion. Like I said last week when we were, talking about 9/11, some people want to remember the lives that were lost. I want to remember the mistakes that were made that led to the lives that were lost. Fucking religion. Moving on.
Yeah. And I guess the same thing happened. Not the same thing, but in Minnesota, St. Cloud man stabbed 10 people. None of them are life-threatening. I think they're all out of the hospital as well. But he did mention Allah and ask one of the victims if they were Muslim before he stabbed them. So yeah, this guy was in his 20s. They said he was assimilated. He said the same thing you always hear: quiet guy, nice guy. It just the war on religion is kind of let up a little bit, but and it's specific right now to Muslims because they're the ones in America that are creating these type of events. And we've talked about it before. I hate to agree with the right wingers on anything, but honestly, at this point, it's our greatest threat as a country. It's not okay for people to walk around blowing things or themselves up, or even stabbing people or whatever. It's not okay. And as a society, I mean, we can't just go burn down the mosque. That's not what I'm suggesting, but we need help. The Muslim people need to, start identifying within themselves, do something. We have to work together on it, but there's only, these type of things that are happening, these terrorist kind of things. Domestic terrorism has gone away, since 9/11 pretty much. There's not people. We don't have Americans blowing shit up.
No, we have Americans shooting each other.
Yeah, that's the new thing, right? And we just spent a couple of topics, about that and why we don't agree with that. But at the same time, this is a separate issue, and this one is coming from Muslims. And the second guy was Somali, so it's not Middle Eastern. That's why it's not racist to say that that Islam is bad. This guy's from Africa, so it's the ideas, and as liberals, we talk about bad ideas and we criticize bad ideas, and the idea of jihad and a holy war to advance your cause is just a stupid idea. And I guess I'll say it again.
Yeah, fuck your cause, because as you guys are blowing each other up and all throughout history, not many people have been killed in the name of Satan. I'm starting to wonder which one which one's the more moral of the two, whether it be God, Allah, whatever you want to call him, and Satan himself. I agree with Jim Jeffries. As far as I know, Satan hasn't written a book. He's kind of just being the bigger man, saying, "Hey, God, you can fuck off if you're going to talk about me that way." And he just went off on his own. I mean, it's not that it's never happened, but far more people have either just suffered or straight out been murdered in the name of the peaceful, loving God that everybody seems to love and adore so much. I will disagree that it's it is not the biggest threat we face today. The biggest threat we face today, I think, unfortunately, is little fuckstick over in North Korea with his piece of shit haircut. I do think there's you brought it up last week. I do think that is that's definitely something that's going to take a little more attention, I think, than what we're giving it right now. When it comes to terrorism, I mean, you are more likely in this country to be killed by one of your household appliances than you are terrorism. The only thing that's different between the two, really, other than one's more likely to kill you than the other, is the message behind it, which is what terrorism is about. Terrorism is about the message.
But when you look at European countries, right, like Germany, for example, before I visited, there was 3 different attacks within 100 miles of where I was going.
No, I'm not saying. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a problem. I agree with the right that I have no problem calling them Islamic extremists and pretty much damning everything that's that religion has to offer. I'm all for that. But in this country, many other things are more likely to kill you than terrorism. But
I want to keep it that way. That's
of course. But I think that the bigger thing, nobody gives a shit when Whirlpool takes a life because somebody tries to move their washer and it falls on top of them, or they get locked in their fucking fridge. I mean, there's no refrigerator saying Allah Akbar as it suffocates somebody and scares the shit out of everyone, and now everybody's afraid to get into their fridge. I mean, that's obviously not the case.
it's different, right? Because if you're dumb enough to have your fridge fall on you, and I mean, rest in peace to the 10 a year that happens to.
That's such a Homer Simpson thing.
That's one thing, right? But obviously, in any kind, we're trying to advance society, like we spoke about many times, and this blowing yourself up, blowing shit up, society that doesn't work with an advanced society, and so do obviously a lot of the other things that we criticize. But I'm just going to point it out as well, is that as we advance, we can't have that shit. It's not going to work.
No, that now intellectually, Ken Moore does not take the cake. So intellectually, yes, progress is stumped as long as there are plenty of morons out there that don't want to take their own responsibility and want to do things in the name of their imaginary heavenly father. Speaking of which, before we go, I want to give a shout out to some people that I've been listening to. So I got 2 comedians that if anybody's interested to check out. One is Bo Burnham, fairly famous, youngest guy, 19 years old when he got his first Comedy Central special. He was the youngest guy to do that. He's a comedian. He's a musical comedian, and he's got some songs that kind of relate to what we were talking about. He on his first stand up, he's got a song called "Art Is Dead." His entire persona on stage is to talk shit about terrible artists, about how art is fucking dead. Some of the stuff that we talked about last week and how he feels about it. And the majority of his songs are slapping artists and musicians and actors and people in the face, which is fucking awesome. He's got another song called "From God's Perspective," which is just fantastic. There's another one about suicide called "Kill Yourself," which is also just fucking amazing. Another guy, if you like him, there's another guy, he's from Australia, named Tim Minchin. Just to give you one example, he's got a song called 10-Foot Cock and a Few Hundred Virgins, which is what Muslim people hope they get when they arrive in heaven after, or the promised land, or whatever the hell they call it after blowing themselves up. So Tim Minchin, Bo Burnham. I've been listening to a lot of these guys lately. Sometimes it just helps to know that there are some artists out there, however, like not as well known as Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, but there are some people out there that are using their spotlight to kind of hold up a mirror to society in a way. So, with that, looks like we're about out of time here. So thanks for joining us this week, everybody. Again, don't forget to send us your questions and comments. We had a few and we did not get to them today, but we will get to them next week. Send your comments, questions, whatever you got to AOR_podcast on Twitter, the Age of Reason podcast page on Facebook, and for everything else, AORpodcast.com. See you guys next week.